Mikey, thanks very much for sitting down with me today, or in this case, standing up in glorious California.
Thanks for having me. A lot of fun.
I understand you're a recent graduate. Can you
I
tell
am.
me? Can you tell me a little bit about where you're at and what you're doing now?
So I recently finished my PhD at the University of Minnesota. Then I did a brief postdoc at University of British Columbia, and I'm currently an assistant professor at the University of Hawaii.
Excellent. Well, I think that's a progressive improvement as you went, Mikey. That's good work. That's good work. So, start off nice and light. Most influential book.
The Phantom Toll Booth.
Okay.
So
And why?
the Phantom Toll Booth is a great children's book, and it's just it's really about curiosity. So it's about learning new things, different ways of viewing the world, and it's something that I first read when I was probably in fourth grade, and it's very much just stuck with me.
Nice, nice. It's amazing how some books just do that
Yeah.
too, isn't it? Mikey, what would you say is the key to your success?
I think it's really being willing to participate in so many projects, being willing to participate in the community. And there's so many people who have such great ideas, and interacting with all of them, it always gives you a better sense of knowing, okay, how should I approach my individual projects? What can I learn? Am I doing things in the best possible way? And plant breeding such a great community because people are very open. They're very friendly, and people are always willing to talk about their science. It's great.
Yeah. One thing I have learned, because I am not a scientist, one thing I have learned about scientists is that they have to be willing or able to change their mind about something. And my question for you would be, when was the last time that happened for you, where you actually changed your mind about an important topic?
Well, I think in terms of important topics, methods. That's something that I see all the time. Methods are constantly evolving. You get stuck in this idea of, I love doing this particular test. I love doing it this way. Or this is the only way of looking at a problem. I have a hammer, this is a nail. No. So you have to be open to realizing there's, when you start getting new data, it's so exciting. There's a million different paths that you can take, and what might be the most logical to you might turn out to be a horrible way of approaching it. And you have to be flexible enough to realize when there's more data, you have to change your mind, and you have to go with what is actually the better way of looking at the problem.
I think that really is what differentiates scientists from non-scientists, because the rest of the world, like myself, once I got an idea, I'm pretty stuck. I'm pretty stuck on it, Mikey. When you think of a person being successful, who comes to mind?
Well, for me, it's kind of an amalgamation of all these great people who I've had the opportunity to work for. I've really had the opportunity to have fantastic mentors and role models throughout my career. From when I started working in a plant breeding lab in high school to all the way up through my postdoc. All of these people I've worked, for my parents, all of them have had a huge influence on me, and I'd like to think that I can take from all of them and learn. You have to work really hard for a project, but you have to have a plan. You have to know when a project is finished. All of these things that my different mentors over the years have been able to impart on me. I try and take from all of them.
Nice, nice. When did you first become interested in plant breeding?
So it was actually in high school. I had the opportunity to work in a maize genetics lab at the University of Minnesota, and it kind of stuck.
Nice, kind of stuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say very much stuck. Yeah. Who was your role model, and what would be kind of one characteristic that you?
I would say very much my parents, and I would say that the characteristic is really the work ethic. You can't. Things don't work, and you have to be willing to say when they don't work, okay, let's figure out why they don't, and let's keep moving. You can't let kind of short-term setbacks stop you.
Yeah, isn't that the truth? Well said. Well said. What two pieces of advice would you give to students getting started today?
Well, the first would be, lots of your projects aren't going to get work. They're just not going to work. That's how science works. A negative result isn't a negative project. Right. And I think you have to be willing to do that. And then I would say you have to be willing to talk to people, talk science, talk breeding, talk your project. Because when you isolate yourself from the greater community, you're losing all of this fertile cross-pollination that can occur for all these different ideas. You know, maybe there's an idea in animal genetics that you can take to your plant genetics. Maybe there's an analysis from psychology that is the exact same basis for what you're trying to do in plants. Everyone's thinking about these problems, and those disciplinary filters are necessary, but it's often nice to take them off to just talk more generally about science.
You're obviously a passionate guy, Mikey. You've got your whole career ahead of you. The future for plant breeders is bright. What would you like to be able to contribute to the profession?
Yeah. Well, I mean, you go into plant breeding and you'd love to contribute to food security, whether it's world food security, local security. That's, you know, definitely something that's always one of the top, you know, it's something you write about and you think about all the time. It's something that so it'd be great to be able to contribute to that in a meaningful way. Also, it'd be great, you know, to maybe or hopefully contribute methodologically in some way that makes plant breeding easier or makes it, you know, more accessible to a larger segment of the population. It's something that the world depends on, but it's also something that isn't always visible.
Right.
And so it'd be great for people to in many ways, and I see a lot of people doing this, reconnect with their food in a way, but also reconnect with the way that we develop food and not think of it as such an abstract concept as of coming from the supermarket.
Nice. Well said. Well said. Mikey, thanks very much for the chat today.
Thank you. Great talking to you.